Feeling overwhelmed by the challenges of being a single parent? You are not alone. Welcome to Single Parent Reset, the podcast that helps you navigate the ups and downs of single parenthood and find the balance that you deserve. Whether you're a single parent, co-parent or solo parent, this is the show for you. I'm Orla and I'm a life coach for single parents and a single parent myself. I know how hard it can be, but I believe every single parent has the strength to create a life that they are proud of. For more information about me and the work that I do, please visit my website solascoaching.com. That is SOLAS coaching.com. In each episode of this podcast, we'll be shining a light on the unique struggles single parents face and cover the aspects of being a single parent that are often overlooked and left unspoken. I'll be sharing actionable steps to help you overcome these challenges and find more calm and fulfillment in your life. Single Parent Reset is your weekly opportunity to gain a fresh perspective, take back control, and feel more in charge of your journey. This week's episode, I have got a fantastic guest for you. It is from Instagram, Natalie Vanessa. Now, I was scrolling through Instagram a while ago and I came across Natalie's account and I just loved it. She just speaks so honestly and positively about the single parent experience. So I thought I need to get her on this podcast. And I did. So listen to our conversation now and hear all about what we talked about. Natalie, welcome to Single Parent Reset. Thank you so much for coming along today. I am very excited about this conversation we are about to have.
Yeah, same here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. So please, can you let the listeners know a little bit about you and your single parent journey so far? It'd be great to hear about it.
Yeah, so I'm Natalie. I'm 34 years old, living in Buckinghamshire, and I've been a single parent for it's coming up to 4 years now. So I feel like I'm well into the single parenthood journey and kind of found my feet a bit. So yeah, that's me, and I work full time as a project coordinator. I'm doing bits in housing and public health, and I also have an online presence documenting my journey as a single parent, and then also dating as well, which I'm sure we can get into a bit later. But yeah, that's what I do currently.
Amazing. Oh, that's great. Great. And what age are your kids that you have, or how many kids have you got?
Yeah, I've got two children, a daughter and a son. So my daughter is, I was gonna say 8 years old, but she's just turned 9,
Wow.
just last week. So she's 9, and my son is 5 years old. So they're at that age where they don't need me as much, but there's new challenges that are presenting now with my daughter getting quite, I feel like she's in the preteen kind of stage.
Yeah.
So it's a whole different ball game now. I'm having like a lot of debates and stuff with her, and I'm like, hold on, who's the mum here?
Yeah, how do you know that? Yeah, it can be hard. I find as well, because my son is 6 and I was actually with friends last night and I was saying to them, it's like great because he can now play independently, do his own thing. But then when he comes up to me and be like, I'm bored, I'm like, what do you mean? I thought we were over. I thought you just entertain yourself now. And I have to remind myself, no, he's only 6. You still need to actually engage with this child. So you would have then been doing single parenting while your kids were kind of at that younger age as well, because I'm the similar age as well, similar time frame. How did you find it with your kids being particularly younger and navigating that transition?
Yeah, well, it was interesting because my daughter was at an age where she kind of knew of what was going on a bit more.
Yeah.
My son was not even 2, I don't think, at the time. So he didn't understand. So for me to navigate that between them was kind of difficult because my daughter obviously didn't take well to the divorce and stuff. She was quite upset, and I had to manage that. Whereas my son was just like, all okay with everything. That was challenging for me. And just the realization that, I have to do this like on my own. I do have a co-parent, but the day-to-day was just me in the house. And I just remember like the first morning after like we split and he left the house, I just felt terrified. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm the only adult here. I've got a baby. I've got she's just started school. How can I do this? And luckily I had a great support network. My friend actually moved in for 2 weeks just so I could, just sort myself out really. I was a complete mess. So that was a massive help. And my mum was a massive help as well. But it really did take some time for me to kind of settle into that role and kind of accept that this is my new norm now.
Mhm. Yeah, it can be. It's that shift, especially if it can happen suddenly or whatever way it happens, is when it's suddenly that person isn't living in the home anymore. And it can feel like you're living someone else's reality for the first while. You can be looking around being like, what is this me? Is this my life now? And it can feel so just overwhelming that it's just like a slow weight suddenly landing on your shoulders and just being like, okay, this is all me now. And learning to accept it. And what helped you with the acceptance part? Because it's something I always talk about, how it's key that no matter what's happened, it has happened, and
Yeah.
it's not no longer blaming, or pushing back or wishing what ifs and all these things. It's all about, if you can accept it, that's the first step, because then you can start moving forward and making your life moving forward. What helped you get to that point of acceptance?
Therapy was a really big turning point for me. Before then, like I said, I wasn't coping well with it. I felt a lot of guilt, a lot of shame.
Mhm.
Just yeah, just wasn't nice. And my friend, the same friend that moved in actually, she was like, "Get yourself into therapy." She's like, "Just do it, see how it
Mhm.
goes." And it was the best thing that I did. I ended up staying in therapy for a year and a half.
Mhm.
I was doing weekly sessions, spent a lot of money,
Mhm.
but I don't feel like I would be where I am now if I hadn't gone through that. And
Mhm.
going through that process, I was really able to understand, why did I end up with such a toxic partner? Like, what was it about my childhood that led me to choosing and staying with a partner like that for all of those years?
Mhm.
And me coming to that understanding, I was then able to accept that, not to take away like complete accountability, but just understand why I ended up that way. And it has
Mhm.
happened now. And I need to close that chapter and move on and move forward. So
Mhm.
yeah, therapy was a massive, massive thing for me.
Yeah, it's so good to have that space to be able to talk with a professional, was because a lot of, well, for me, when I became a single parent, none of my friends had been through that experience. And obviously there's some bits they can talk about and help you about, but the emotions are extremely complex, and
Yes.
they're hard to navigate and even articulate. And some of them you don't even want to articulate to others. So to have that space to work through them can be key to help you kind of figure out what's going on and what even is this, or hear yourself say things out loud and they're like, did I just say that? Was that me? Can be such a great space. You share a lot of your story online on Instagram. What inspired you to do that? What made you think, I'm going to get this account, I'm going to start talking about my experience of single motherhood?
Well, it started on TikTok actually
Mhm.
last year around May,
Mhm.
and it started with no focus at all. I was actually going through something separate that was like financial issues that were
Yeah.
really getting me down and stressing me out. And I literally took to TikTok just as an outlet.
Mhm.
I've got ridiculous videos of me dancing that I probably need to delete those ones now. But I just wanted to post. I just
Yeah.
wanted to post. I enjoyed like creating the content, editing it. And
Mhm.
then one of my videos just kind of went a bit viral when I was about the kid's dad, not in that kind
Mhm.
of way, but kind of sharing my experience. I thought,
Mhm.
oh, okay, people are relating to this. So I
Mhm.
just continued to talk about sharing my experience with me getting divorced, where I'm at now. And that's when like the followers started to come in a bit more.
Mhm.
Met some made some amazing friends through that,
Mhm.
who have similar like experiences. And it just continued to grow. I had some more videos that went viral, and all the videos that were going viral were all based on my story as a single parent and me dating as a single parent. So I
Mhm.
just felt like this is probably something that I need to speak about. But it wasn't my original thing. I mean, who wants to come online and be like, hey, I'm a single parent and I'm looking for love? Like, it's not really someone's
Mhm.
first choice to do that. But
Yeah.
I realized there was a lot of value in it when I saw how much people were resonating, and the messages I get from women about, they really relate to my story and sharing their struggles of dating, and, the shame around being a single mom, and if, men want a woman with children. So all of that, I felt like there is a bigger kind of mission here than just creating silly videos online.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think because a huge thing for single parents is, and this is what I find as well in the work that I do with the clients that I work with, is so many of them think that they're the only one experiencing this, they're the only one going through it, because there's not many people out there actually being open and honest about the single parent experience and what the realities actually are. So it's when, there's someone like yourself who's sharing it online, it can gain so much traction because it hits something visceral. People are like, oh my God, me too. I cannot believe she said those words about what it feels like when your kids are at the co-parents and you're just wandering around the house and don't know what to do with yourself, or the guilt that you might feel because your kids are at the co-parents and you don't feel guilty that you're not missing them, and the complex feelings that you can feel. And I think it's so good to have a space on the internet that's just a real reality of what single parents are going through that you're sharing, which is brilliant. I think it's so, so good. And what are the kind of top messages that you get from people when they're messaging you and reaching out to you?
It's more them sharing their story,
Yes.
about like what they're going through, the current struggles, either financially or with the other co-parent. And then messages of encouragement as well, because I don't know if you've looked in my comments as well, but it can be quite a mixed bag of positive and negative. So I do get a lot of people reaching out just to say, like, ignore the horrible comments. You're doing a great job. Continue, sharing your story. So I appreciate a lot of those messages. But yeah, I've really got to know a lot of the ladies and hear their stories and stuff like that. So when we do actually get to meet up, it's like I feel like we're friends already.
Yeah, these people.
Yeah.
And then with the negative comments, what are the type of negative comments that you get? Because I think this is one thing that can be really hard for single parents. Sometimes when you're, let's say you're thinking, oh, I think people might be thinking this about me. When I work with people, I'll be like, okay, well, let's look at what evidence is there for that. What's the reality here? And sometimes there is actually evidence, and you're seeing it day to day actually being written in the comments of like, no, there is the stigma. People do think these things. And that's what can be really challenging for single parents to rise above that. So I'm wondering, what are some of the common things that people say, and we can just eye roll about them now?
Yeah. A lot of them is just basically like, once you've had a child, you're kind of useless to a man. Like you're no longer valuable in a man's eyes. I do this because I really don't think real men think that way. But
Yeah.
ones that do comment on these usually troll accounts are saying that, you're, especially if you've got 2 kids, 3 kids or whatever, that no one's going to want you and that you're not lovable. You also don't have a right to even find love or happiness again because you are a mum, which is just a ridiculous concept. Because what do they expect us to do? Just lay down in a corner and die because now we've got children? Like, we deserve happiness and love as well. Everyone deserves a second chance at it. And just because you have children doesn't mean that you shouldn't have that opportunity. So those are the messages that I get, and I can almost preempt what videos will get that response. Like I could write the comments myself from the video put out, because they say the same things. It almost gets now.
Yeah, it's like a lazy narrative that they're throwing out there. And it's great to think you have your supporters coming in, just bashing that away, because that's what we need in these online spaces to keep the trolls away, which is so good. And you mentioned that you have done some in-person meetups. I love this idea of the brunches that you do. Can you please talk about them?
Yeah, so we it's very informal. The idea is just, let's get everyone in a room, let's just chat, have some food, have a few drinks, and just share our stories, encourage each other. One thing I do always say at the brunch meetups is I appreciate that everyone has their struggles, but I don't want it to be a space where we're just trauma bonding and dwelling in our problems, but more empowerment, looking forward. How can we grow from this? How can we create community and create a positive outcome from it? So that's just been happening. Like, we've had some ladies that have come back again because they enjoyed it and they've made friends from it. And I just hope it can continue to grow, really. And we've got some ideas in the pipeline. So I do it with my friend Natalie as well, Natalie, who I actually met on TikTok. So
no way.
Yeah. We met on TikTok last year and we've just become such good friends, honestly. Like I've been to her house and, we've had sleepovers, all sorts. So we're like really, really good friends now. But we've got some plans to like make this regular and make it bigger. And we've got a lot of things in the pipeline for that. But our next meetup will be next month. And we're hoping to do a picnic, bring and share in the park, where some of the mums can bring their kids as well. Because all the brunches have been, oh, no kids allowed. We just wanted the mums to come.
Yeah.
But it'll be good if we just get everyone to come out and just, yeah, have a nice time.
Oh, it's so nice. And I think, and are the majority of people that come, are they single parents that come?
Yeah, but not exclusively. So
Mm-hmm.
there are some ladies that are in relationships
Yeah.
that come,
Mm-hmm.
some that don't even have children, but just
Yeah.
resonate with my dating content
Yeah.
and my vibe. And
Yeah.
I haven't made it so it's just for single mums, but
Yeah.
that's the majority of people that do come. But it really
Yeah.
is open for any woman.
Amazing. And I love that idea of, because it can be so easy when you're sitting with people who've been through a similar experience or living through the same experience to just be like, and then this happened, and then my ex did that, and then the kids are so annoying. It's like, no, no, no. That,
Yeah.
yes, that is all happening. But let's look at like all the good that we can make from this situation, because I do that, like, truly believe that anyone who becomes a single parent, it is, while it can be extremely challenging, you come out the other side a much better person. Like, you learn so much from the experience, and yeah, it's just something that you absolutely grow from.
And the women that come to these brunches, I'm just amazed by the lives that they're living.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're business owners, they're, high in their careers or homeowners. Like they're doing so much and
Yeah,
they have the additional responsibility of being a single parent. And
yeah,
I'm just in awe of all of them. I just think
yeah.
they're so incredible, a lot of the women.
Yeah, but this is classic of single parents, because they're probably in awe of you because you've organized the thing. So you're like, she's amazing because she's done all that. It was like, no, but you're amazing yourself. It's always looking to other
Yeah,
people. Yeah, it's just
it's
funny.
true. It's true.
And then a topic I just beyond excited to dive into with you is dating as a single parent. So tell me, first of all, can I ask you, how long did you wait? When did you know you were ready? Let's start from the start.
Yeah, so I kind of, if I was to look back at it, I probably would do it differently, but
Okay.
I did kind of jump on the apps as soon
Yeah.
as I was single.
Mm-hmm.
Probably that was probably more out of fear of, oh my gosh, I'm alone. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be alone. Let's go on these dates. So I didn't wait very long. And yeah, went on a lot of different dates, a lot of first dates. I was just sort of like, nah, don't like him. Next,
Mm-hmm.
next. And did that for a bit and then settled down a bit. And I was like, actually, if I'm going to really want to find something serious, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like one, I need to just settle myself in my mind, first of all,
Yeah.
and feel comfortable being alone and stop avoiding the loneliness. So I did that for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the beginning of this year, I was like, right, I'm going back out there, but I'm intentionally dating this time.
Yeah.
I want to find my person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, since doing that, I've been on like one date. But I just feel like this time I've been so intentional that I've almost become probably a bit too picky. It's not that I haven't had people ask me out on a date,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just not willing to go now if I, one, don't feel the vibe or
Mm-hmm.
if it doesn't align with what I want and who I want.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before I would just say, yeah, that's fine. Like, you're good looking enough. Let's go on this date. But now I'm really looking at it deeper. And a lot of people haven't qualified, sorry to say. So that's been interesting for my dating experience. What, we in the 7th month, and yeah, one date. It's not great stats.
Well, it's probably one date more than many other single parents. So you're doing great. You've had the one.
Yeah.
And then, well, going back to what you said about, just sitting with the loneliness and getting used to the loneliness, how did you navigate that? How did you get used to just spending that time by yourself and being comfortable with just you?
Yeah, it's really tough. Like, I don't want to gloss over it and be like, oh yeah, just, it'll be fine. Like, you'll get over it in a week or two. Like, it's really tough and really painful as well. Because when you're on your own, I feel like that's when a lot of any suppressed feeling, suppressed pain reveals itself. I really allowed myself to feel that sadness and feel that loneliness and allow it to just happen. Whereas before, I'd be like, no, don't want to feel like that. I'm going to go out. I'm going to go and do this. I'm going to call this person. But I just knew it was important for me to just be still. And that's what I've been doing. And even if that means I cry for the whole evening, then I cry for the whole evening. And I think that's the only way you can get through that. And there are moments now, like, yeah, you might feel a little bit lonely, but it's bearable for me now. Like, I spent weekends at home in my flat, don't even speak to anyone, And I'm quite happy pottering about, listening to my music, cooking, cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't do that a couple of years ago. That would be my worst nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a slow process and a painful one as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And it is that thing of the feelings are so uncomfortable. So you'll do anything to avoid them. But the sooner that you can just sit and actually, rather than pushing against them, just let them be and give them the space, the sooner you can kind of move past them. And like you said, they don't go away. Like loneliness will crop up again, or those feelings, they come up again. But once you've let them in once, you're like, okay, I know this will pass, and it can kind of make it easier. But it can be so easy to just instead just like feel it crop up and do avoidance things, like go on loads of dates to avoid the loneliness, or like constantly overwork or things like that. But it's actually stopping and sitting with it, which isn't fun. It's not a fun task. No one likes it, but what gets you to the other side, which is so much better.
Another thing I wanted to add was don't feel ashamed for feeling alone as well.
Yeah.
Because we're humans, like we need human connection. So if you want that, that's a very natural thing to want. And that's what I had to understand in myself. I was like, oh, am I being needy? Like, why am I feeling like this? Until my therapist was like, no, you're human. It's absolutely okay to want to be with someone. That's very normal. So it's just a message to any mums that might be listening that's experiencing that loneliness, that it's okay to want to have a partner, but also, sit through that and be still and work through that kind of pain as well.
But yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Like it is totally normal to feel that way. And also on the loneliness as well, I think I find for single parents and myself as well, I find it's not just loneliness when I'm by myself in the evenings. It can also be loneliness when I'm out and about doing my bits. So like I'm with my son and we're going to like a family event and I'm surrounded by people, but I feel really lonely because I'm surrounded by nuclear families, or feeling like I just don't fit in this situation anymore. Or when I go to like school birthday parties and again, it's all the nuclear families, or out socializing with my friends and they're all complaining about their husbands, whatever. And it's those moments where I'm out socializing, I'm getting the connection, but I'm walking away and I'm feeling like crap. And understanding why that is.
That is tough. It is. Yeah. It's that comparison, isn't it? That you, if I date, maybe I could have that life. But I think the reality is we don't know. Well, like we see it on the surface that, there's a nuclear family, but we don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
No.
you know.
Well, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people present as in everything's perfect, but you just don't know. So, and then going back to dating, because I'm not done, I've got more questions. So what about, because obviously we're parents, so do you have on your profile that you have kids? What's your approach here?
Well, I'm not doing dating apps anymore.
Oh,
yeah, I came off those. Actually, the quality of the men on there just, yeah. But when I was on there, I did have that I had kids on there. And then I would also write in my prompt, I have 2 children, just to make it very clear. Because I didn't want anyone matching with me, talking to me, and then I have to drop the bomb. Oh, I've got kids. And they're like, oh, sorry, I don't want to do that. So I like to be upfront with it. And I do it in person as well. If a guy approaches me in a bar, if he asks for my number, I'm like, by the way, I've got 2 children. And I've had men put their phone back in their pocket and they're like, it's not for me. I'll see you later. And I can't even be mad at it because
I like the honesty. I prefer that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can see the awkwardness on them and no, honestly, it's fine. Like, I respect you doing it now rather than a couple weeks down the line. But yeah, I like to, up front, if it's on the dating profile, it'll be there, if not in person. I should just walk around with a sign, maybe with my kids' pictures. I have 2 kids. And the approach if you want to be a stepdad.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. Just let them know. So if you're not on the apps anymore, where on earth are you meeting people? I'm dying to know this.
Yeah, so just out at bars. I've met someone at like a friend's birthday party. Weddings are a good one as well. Just social gatherings like that, really. And I try and be a bit more aware when I'm out. So not that anyone's spoken to me in a supermarket, but I'm a bit more looking, head up, looking around. There might be someone. If there is someone, I might say hi, I might smile, and see from there. But yeah, it's just been those kind of social interactions. I've also, I haven't gone on a date from like meeting someone there, but I've done this dinner with strangers with a company called Time Left. where you go and there's a group of like 5 or 6 people that you don't know and you have dinner. So things like that, you could meet people. I didn't meet anyone to date, but you're thinking of ways to like meet people in kind of like a more natural kind of setting. I think those are pretty good.
Yeah, great. I know it's really good to hear different ways, because I think a lot of the time people think it's just the apps, the only way you're going to meet someone, but actually there's different avenues, which is really good. And then if there's a single parent out there who's listening, they're hearing us talk about dating and it just feels to them like a million miles away from them, what advice would you have for them to help them nudge themselves a little bit closer to dating and getting themselves out there again?
Yeah, so the key, I think, is just getting yourself out there in general. So even if it's starting to go on solo dates, just getting used to coming out of your house, getting ready, making yourself look nice and feeling nice about yourself, and just socializing. Go and pick things that you like to do, get new hobbies if you can. I know it's really difficult to maintain hobbies as a single parent because of time constraints, but whatever you can do or interests that you do have, just go and try something new. But now I've done a bit of like solo dating myself. I've taken myself away on staycations. And you just find when you're just out, you naturally start to build your confidence a bit. You might talk to the barman a little bit. And that, again, just builds your confidence just speaking to people in general. And I just think, once you start doing that, then you might think, okay, might go on the apps if that is the route that you want to take and try and go on a date. But I think the key is getting out your house. Unfortunately, we can't find our person in the house. I know it would be lovely for them to come and knock at the door and whisk you away, but I think we have to get out there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. No one's going to come running to find you. So there is an element of putting yourself out there. But the idea of just getting yourself out first and doing things for you first, I think that really is the first step. And then just taking it from there. And the more you're out there, I mean, it's a numbers game. If you're out there, the more people you see, the more opportunity you're giving yourself, which is key.
Yeah, just another way that you can meet people and not have to leave your house is putting yourself out there on social media. I've had a lot of, requests through the DMs and connected with a lot of men just from me posting online. And I don't think you necessarily have to post about your dating, but just having an online presence is almost like a dating profile, really. They can see what you look like, they know how you speak, how you dress, what you do. And a lot of connections have been made that way. And not just me, like there's other people that I've spoken to that they've met their partners through. Instagram feels like the number one where people kind of make connections. So that could be another thing. You could start content creation as a way to meet people.
I need to overhaul my Instagram. This sounds like a great idea. But that's a really good one. I wouldn't have even thought of that. And moving away then from dating, which I could talk about all day long with you, I'm wondering for you, co-parenting. What is your co-parenting setup and how do you navigate co-parenting?
I feel like the term is probably more parallel parenting, what we have. Because there's not much cooperation across the board. So, I kind of do my thing, he does his thing, sees the children regularly, but in terms of that crossover, it's not there, unfortunately. And I think just the way things are, it's probably best like that because there's no like issues or problems and stuff like that will arise. So that's how we've been doing it for the past kind of 4 years. Can I say it's going well? It's going okay. I'm always very cautious how I speak of the other parent because I never want to be that kind of single mum that's always bashing like the kid's dad, as much as I could do that, but that's not like my focus. But I would say the parenting is okay. The kids are happy, and I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, and I think that is the main thing. No matter what your co-parenting relationship is, I think it's keeping the kids center and remembering that it's for the kids. And I really admire that you aren't saying anything negative about the co-parent because it's such an easy track. Any single parent could go down that route, but it's reminding that no matter what, if you are doing co-parenting, your kids are across the two households, that is the home of the other kids. They go to the home, it's another home for them. So you don't want to be bashing the person that's the head of that household, you know, because that's where your kids are spending some of their time. No, there's no need to be talking badly of that person, because that's the other nice safe space that my kids go to. And in terms of when it comes to co-parenting, when you deal with any challenges, like what do you do to help in terms of communication, let's say techniques for dealing with communication with the co-parents, especially when you're parallel parenting? What over your 4 years have you found have been useful for you?
I cut phone calls. We don't speak on the phone because I realized they were very emotionally charged, triggering.
Yeah.
It's quite easy to lose track of what you're communicating about and start arguing about things that had happened in the past.
Yeah.
So the only time we would speak on the phone, if it's an emergency, like if he has the children and he would call because there's an emergency, that's the only time. But everything else is done through email. So I don't even respond to text messages because, again, I think because text messages feel so instant, they feel like I have to respond right now. Sometimes I might respond emotionally and say things that I don't want to say that's going to just make the situation worse. So doing it over email, it allows me to have that pause because, one, I don't see the emails as soon as they come through. And two, that there's, I don't know if psychologically you feel like you don't need to instantly respond to an email. You can kind of sit on it for a bit. And that's what I do just to kind of regulate my emotions, write my response. I read it through. I treat it like work. I'm like, nope, take that word out. Nope, not doing that. And that has been so much better for me. Not the other parent probably will say otherwise because they find it quite frustrating. But for me, in managing my emotions and my peace, that is the best way.
Yeah. And I think it's key to figure out what works for you and not looking at what other people are doing and how they're doing it, because every family dynamic is completely different. So it's figuring out what works for you and your family, because only you know what is going to work for the best. And people can have their opinions on, you know, how you're managing it, but they're not living the day-to-day reality. They're not the ones who are having to do it. So it's really important to figure out for you and be open to the flexibility and changing and adapting, because as kids grow, you know, their needs change and things will change. But just as you go through your co-parenting, making sure you're staying true to what's important to you and what's going to actually work for you is key. I think. Yeah. Obviously, being a single parent can be incredibly overwhelming at times, and I feel like you are just running from one thing to the next and nothing's getting done and everyone wants you and it's just a lot. What do you do in those moments when you just feel just completely fried?
I try my best not to get to the fried stage, and I'm getting better at that now. So things that I make sure I do is going to the gym and working out. So I train 5 times a week, 3 days in the gym and 2 days running. And that really helps me just get my stress out, feel calm, mental clarity and everything. And I just find if I keep that routine up, I don't get to those points where I'm just like, can't do this. I mean, they do happen, but not as frequent as before. So it's really, healthy habits that I keep in. I try and eat relatively healthy, balanced diet, because I think that can all help with stress levels and all of that. So those are the things. And then also, I've spoken about it already, like just being alone, just being still, having those moments of quiet, just to reflect and think and just rebalance yourself. That's kind of how I manage the stresses of it. And as well, I don't know if you speak about this stuff on your podcast, because I know religion sometimes is a bit of a controversial topic, but I have a strong faith in God. So for me, like my relationship with God gives me the strength to kind of continue on as well. So those are all the things that I use and pull on.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got a real good set kind of, well, I like to call it like your self-care toolbox of like different things you can pull out to help you in different moments, to like help you just bring yourself back to you again when it feels like absolute carnage is happening. And you mentioned kind of the idea of being alone and how that really centers you. And then on the flip side of that, how important have you found building your community and your support network? How important has that been to you to help you through single parenthood?
Yeah, massively important, because I know now that I'm not alone. When I was going through my divorce, I didn't have anyone to like relate to. I had people around me, but no one was the age that I was going through divorce, becoming a
Yeah.
single parent.
Mhm.
So that felt really isolating. And I remember just desperately looking online
Mm.
who's going through the same thing. And all of the people were based in the US.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to find someone that looks like me as well.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I feel like we don't, like people of like Black women may not
Mhm.
put themselves forward like this
Yeah.
to talk about these issues. So
Hmm.
it's really hard to find someone that looks like me that I could be like,
Yeah.
oh, do you know what? She's going through it. She's come on the other side. So
Hmm.
now I have such an amazing group of women that I call family, a lot
Hmm.
of them, who have gone through similar things just and have come on the other side and flourished. It gives me the strength to kind of keep on going. And yeah, it just gives me that support and the love that I get from them. It's just honestly, it's the best thing ever.
Oh, amazing. No, it's so good. And I really resonate with that thing of, being because I was similar age as you when I separated, my kids were similar age. And it feels like, oh, this shouldn't happen until you're in your 40s and your kids are in their
Yeah,
teens, or it just feels like this is too early. Like this is too
yeah,
young. And I was like, in 10 years' time, I'm sure there'll be loads of people at the school gates who'll be my position. But I feel like I'm the one who's flying the flag here to give it a go first before everyone else. And it can be really isolating. And for any single parents who are listening who are feeling like that and who do feel like they're looking around and they're thinking, I'm the only one going through this, no one else even gets this. How can they find their support and start building that community for themselves?
I guess one way could be, if you're comfortable putting yourself out there, maybe online or
Yeah.
in sort of spaces and sharing your story. I think
Hmm.
there's always so much power in sharing your story because you're able to connect with people
Yeah.
who you may not even know that they're going through the same thing, but because now you've kind of revealed what you've gone through, they now can say, I've been through that too, and you can connect. So I think
Hmm.
there's such power in sharing your story, whether it's online, whatever groups that you're in, or just people that you know, would be
Yeah.
the key for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you were to look back then when you first became a single parent and where you are now, if you could give yourself advice back to that day one when your friend was staying over for the first 2 weeks, what advice would you give to them?
That you're gonna get through this.
Mhm.
Like you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be sad for a bit, but you're going to get through it and you're gonna be better, way better than you've ever been. And I look back at that woman, I look back at the pictures, I don't know who she is.
Mhm.
She just seems so far removed from who I am now.
Yeah.
I think the women back then would not even have thought that it would be possible for me to come online, share my story, and do all the stuff that I'm doing so confidently. So
Mhm.
I would just go back and reassure her that, yeah, just hold on, it's gonna get better, and yeah, just
Yeah.
don't give up on yourself.
I think it's such good advice, but it's free. But it's interesting to think. My next question is, would she have believed you in that moment?
No,
No, I know. I know. It's really because I've said this a few times and with other guests as well, we'd all say, oh, you're going to get through it. You'll be absolutely fine. But then it's like, I don't think I would have believed that at the time, which is it's so difficult, isn't it?
I'm speaking to like women
Yeah.
in my DMs that are going through it right now, and I'm telling them that I can also hear them like, yeah, okay, like, yeah, you say I'm going to be better,
Yeah.
but they're not obviously believing it as well. And I get it when things are happening around you, it feels so intense. You can't see further than where you're at. It's so
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. And I mean, I don't know the answer for this. I'm just thinking with the person who's listening and hearing us say, oh, you'll get there, you'll be fine. Them thinking, yeah, you did, but I won't, but
yeah,
it's just, I guess it's having trust in the other people who are further along the journey, know that we
yeah,
have been there. We know exactly how it feels and how brutal all those emotions can be. And you will get past them. You just
you will.
trust in the others who are saying that you will, because I promise you will.
And
Yeah.
even if you could just have the smallest amount of hope, even if you've got loads of doubt, but if you just got a little bit of hope and just hang on to that, that will hopefully get you through
Yeah.
until you actually really believe it. Because for me, in my darkest times, I always had this a little bit of hope, like, you know what, maybe it could get better.
Yeah.
So just kind of hold, and that will grow over the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And what is your favorite part of being a single parent?
Just that I get to witness one, I have my children a lot. I get to see them grow. The relationship that we have now, I just feel so much better.
Yeah.
Um, we're just a really close like family unit now, just the three of us.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just such a blessing just to see how they're flourishing despite, the early, like how they started off in life with things being a bit rocky and
Mhm.
unstable. They're just doing so well. So I just love watching them grow, really.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, the bond that you get when you're a single parent with your kids is something else. Like it's so special. It can be intense, but it's really special. And what about what's in the future for you? What are you thinking you're going to be doing in the next year or two? Where are you going with the brunches? What's happening? Tell me as much as you can tell.
Yeah, I would love to grow the brunches as well. Like grow that community a lot
Yeah.
bigger. And also, we've got a lot of single dads that I speak to as well, and they're like, "When are we going to be invited? Like, when are we going to have an event?" So they're in the pipeline. There is the idea to not all the time, but have like a bigger event where we just invite everyone that kind of resonates with my content. So we're hoping to do that probably like before the end of this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what my focus is on. And then I'm also doing a course at the moment for life coaching. Yeah, so I would like to kind of venture into that as
Yeah.
well, specializing in divorce and breakup.
Yeah.
That's where I've got my experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is something, yeah, coming up in the pipeline as well. And then just hoping that my platform just continues to grow, um, go on more podcasts, speak to more people.
Yeah.
Because I generally just love doing it. I love sharing my experience. I love connecting with people,
Mhm.
uh, encouraging people where I can, helping people. Like
Yeah.
it's always been a passion of mine to do. So we just hope that
Yeah.
that will continue.
Amazing. Oh, I'm really excited to hear that you're doing a coaching course because I think there'll be a lot of people out there that you can help, which is brilliant. And on the single dads, I love how you're doing something for single dads because I feel like a lot of the time they're pitched as the enemy, they're left right. People don't even think about them. There's so many assumptions when, single dads are with their kids that they get. And I think it's so good that you're creating a space that includes them as well. I think it's really important because yeah, a lot of single dads are amazing dads and they're
Yeah.
doing a lot of work for their kids and they're really good co-parents and all that jazz. So yeah, I think I just want to let's say that's brilliant that you're doing that because I think it's great to hear that some space has been created for that as well, which is really, really
Yeah.
good. Amazing. Well, my last question for you is what is one final takeaway that you would want a single parent who's listening to get from you?
I always say this all the time, and it's just be kind to yourself. And I know we hear it a lot, but I feel like we need to be reminded all the time. Like when you're feeling like you're not doing enough for your children, or you're not doing enough for yourself, or you're just feeling worn out and just done with it all, in those moments, just remember to be kind to yourself and show yourself the love that you want someone else to show you. I think we always we're the givers, we love our children, we're nurturing them, but we need to make sure we are doing the same nurturing for ourselves in
Mhm.
every single moment of our life. So that's what I would say to the mums. Just be kind to yourself.
I love that. I could not agree more. Be kind to yourself. And if people want to find you, hear more about your brunches, your socials, can you please share all the details as well? And I'll also add them to the show notes, but please share them here as well.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram and TikTok under the
Hmm.
handle natalievanessa.x.
Hmm.
And that's where I do most of my posting. We haven't got a separate page for the brunch yet, but if you follow my personal pages, everything is on there as well. So yeah, that's where I'm just on those two platforms. I do have a YouTube channel, again, the same handle, but there's not much on there at the moment. So don't be
Hmm.
expecting loads of
Yeah.
stuff.
Amazing. But you know what? I feel like there's a lot coming up for you in the next year or two, and I cannot wait to watch and see what happens. And thank you so much for coming on today and just sharing your story and such good little tips and advice for single parents out there as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I knew as soon as I stumbled across Natalie's Instagram page, I was onto something, and she did not disappoint. I really enjoyed that conversation, and I hope you did too. Make sure you go check out her Instagram, her TikToks, and the brunches she runs. They sound amazing. So check it all out, and can't wait to hear what you think of this conversation. In next week's episode, I'm joined by another guest, and this time it is Belinda Jane Bott, who is here to talk all about guilt. Yes, a topic I know many single parents can feel pretty much every day, sometimes very heavily. Belinda's written a book all about guilt, and we are going to dive right into the topic and how we can overcome guilt and understand it just a little bit more as well as single parents. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Single Parent Reset. If you're interested in working with me one-to-one, please go to my website solacecoaching.com for further details. And don't forget to follow my Instagram page @solacecoaching for more insightful content on living a life to be proud of as a single parent. As always, if you find this episode useful, please share with your friends and family. Remember, many single parents may seem like they have it all together, but this could be exactly what they need to help them move forward today.